behind the billions.
Apple, Nvidia, and AMD, the greatest, most innovative tech empires that rule our modern world, all share one fatal, terrifying secret. Despite their trillion-dollar valuations and legions of genius engineers, they have absolutely no physical ability to manufacture their own most advanced microchips. They do not own a single factory capable of printing the microscopic brains of the artificial intelligence era. They are, in reality, just companies that draw highly complex blueprints. With these priceless designs in their hands, the most powerful CEOs in America must cross the Pacific Ocean, bow their heads, and stand in a very long line outside a tightly guarded facility in Taiwan. That company is TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Today, TSMC is the most powerful and dangerous monopoly on Earth, single-handedly printing over 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. They are the undisputed supreme rulers of the digital age. They hold the entire global economy hostage, sitting directly in the crosshairs of a terrifying geopolitical war between the United States and China. But what is truly mind-boggling is how this empire started. When this company was first founded in 1987, all the established titans of Silicon Valley laughed in their faces. They were viewed as pathetic, low-level factory workers from Asia who didn't understand how real business worked. How did a nameless, brandless subcontractor bring the world's richest billionaires to their knees? The answer lies in the terrifying, dogmatic vision of a 56-year-old outcast who destroyed every single rule of modern capitalism. To understand the sheer madness of TSMC's strategy, you have to understand the absolute laws of the 1980s semiconductor industry. Back then, the rule of the global market was simple, brutal, and unforgiving. If you want to be a tech giant, you must design your own chips, and you must manufacture them in your own massive factories. These were called integrated device manufacturers, or IDMs. Massive empires like Intel in America and NEC and Toshiba in Japan dominated the globe with this model. They poured billions of dollars into their own private fabrication plants. At the time, the legendary founder of AMD, Jerry Sanders, famously declared the absolute law of the valley. Real men have fabs. The implication was crystal clear. Anyone who relied on a third-party subcontractor to physically make their products was a pathetic loser, a second-class citizen who didn't have the capital or the courage to do real business. In this hostile environment of arrogant tech giants, a 56-year-old executive named Morris Chang stepped onto the battlefield. Morris Chang was not a naive startup kid. He was a hardened veteran who had spent 25 years building the semiconductor division at Texas Instruments, transforming it into a global powerhouse. But despite his absolute brilliance, he was continually passed over for the ultimate CEO position. Frustrated, burnt out, and nearing the traditional age of retirement, he left the American corporate world. At this exact moment, the Taiwanese government desperately reached out to him. Taiwan was a poor, developing island that wanted to upgrade its economy from making cheap plastic toys and umbrellas to high-tech electronics. They offered Chang funding and a blank check to build a semiconductor industry for Taiwan. Chang analyzed the landscape and realized the brutal truth. Taiwan had absolutely no strengths in product design, no global marketing capabilities, and no consumer brand recognition. The only thing they had was a highly disciplined, hard-working labor force. So, Morris Chang proposed an absolutely insane, suicidal business model that had never existed in the history of the world. He declared the birth of the pure-play foundry. He announced, "We will never design our own products. We will never create a consumer brand, and we will only manufacture chips for other people." When the news reached America and Japan, the massive tech empires burst into laughter. To them, a company with no brand of its own, running low-margin factory lines for other people's leftover orders, was essentially declaring corporate suicide. They assumed TSMC would forever remain a miserable, bottom-feeding factory, making cheap chips for digital watches and calculators. But Morris Chang saw a dark, psychological truth of capitalism that all the arrogant, real men of Silicon Valley were completely blind to. He understood the ultimate, unmatched power of never making an enemy. Think about the fundamental nature of corporate greed and paranoia. If you are the CEO of Apple and you have spent billions developing the blueprint for the next generation iPhone chip, you need someone to manufacture it. Would you ever hand over your highly classified, world-changing blueprints to your biggest smartphone rival, Samsung Electronics? Even if Samsung promises to keep it a secret, The psychological fear of handing your weapon to your enemy is paralyzing. Chang perfectly hacked this primal human psychology of corporate distrust. He established the single, unbreakable dogma of TSMC, a rule that he enforced with fanatical, religious devotion. We will never create our own chips, which means we will never, ever compete with our customers. This bizarre, submissive strategy, originally born out of Taiwan's weakness, instantly transformed into the most terrifying weapon in the tech industry: absolute trust. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, a massive shift occurred that Morris Chang had perfectly predicted. Designing chips became exponentially more complex, and the cost of building a cutting-edge factory skyrocketed from millions to tens of billions of dollars. The arrogant traditional tech empires began to crack under the crippling financial weight of trying to do everything themselves. This is when TSMC's true genius exploded like a nuclear bomb, giving birth to the fabless revolution. Suddenly, there were thousands of brilliant engineers, like Nvidia's Jensen Huang, who had world-changing ideas for graphics cards and processors, but had zero capital to build a factory. In the past, these startups would have died before they even started. But now, they ran straight to Taiwan with nothing but a blueprint. TSMC handed them a world-class manufacturing line on a silver platter. TSMC created a massive, risk-free playground where designers could go crazy, innovate, and disrupt the market without worrying about the nightmare of physical production. As a result, the pathetic subcontractor that Silicon Valley once mocked became the absolute master of a massive ecosystem. They didn't just serve clients, they actively created entire new industries by lowering the barrier to entry. The ultimate proof of Chang's dogmatic vision came in 2014. Apple, furious and paranoid about Samsung's rising dominance in the smartphone market, made a historic decision. They completely cut off Samsung from manufacturing their main processors and handed a massive, multi-billion-dollar exclusive contract to TSMC. Why? Because TSMC didn't make smartphones. They were a pure, neutral Swiss bank for silicon. Today, TSMC's dominance is so absolute that it defies human comprehension. They spend over $30 billion a year just on buying new equipment, like ASML's impossible EUV machines, building a financial and technological moat that no competitor on Earth can cross. Intel is struggling to survive, and Samsung is desperately trying to catch up. But TSMC's grip on the market is forged in decades of unbreakable trust. But their monopoly has grown into something far more dangerous than just a profitable business. TSMC is now the silicon shield that protects the entire island of Taiwan. It is the sole reason why Chinese bombers hesitate to drop missiles on Taipei. It is the reason why the United States government is begging, pleading, and pouring billions of dollars in subsidies to get Morris Chang to build factories on American soil. Because the moment TSMC's factories stop, the world's smartphones go black. America's advanced fighter jets are grounded. Wall Street's financial servers instantly become useless pieces of metal, and the global artificial intelligence revolution immediately collapses. When everyone else was screaming for their own brand, fighting for the spotlight, and trying to conquer every piece of the market, a 56-year-old outcast willingly became the perfect shadow. He pushed his rule of absolute neutrality and non-competition like a fanatic. He proved that, in the ruthless jungle of global capitalism, you don't need to be the king who sits on the throne. You just need to be the man who owns the air the king breathes. And by taking the weakest, most submissive position imaginable, Morris Chang ended up grabbing the most powerful empires in human history, right by the throat.
Tap to subscribe. Watch more untold stories next.